Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So we're now a few years after the COVID pandemic. We're hearing more and more reports about how difficult it was for children and for teenagers in particular to go through all the isolation, to go through not being with their peers in the classroom. Really substantial, not only to the academic part, but also to exasperating all the negative influences of social media and cyberbullying and really all the tumultuous years of teenagehood for some teens made much worse by the isolation of COVID. You know, part of us thought maybe it would even be good for them to have a time away apart from, all the regular routine, the chance to study and live in a different way. But it doesn't always work that way. Second half of our Parsha this week, Bechukotai, starts with the words, "If you keep walking in my ways, and everything will be well. You'll receive blessings and peace. In your homes and away, and rain in your fields." My wife, Rachel, is a psychotherapist, as many of you know, and she receives all the therapy magazines. And I remember looking at one a few weeks ago, and it said on the cover, that caught my attention, a quote by a therapist who said, whatever you're going through, if you keep on walking forward, it will probably help you. If you keep on striving forward, it will probably help you. And there's just a power to keep on going with our routines, with what we do. Chicago, the city that works. Keep on working. And sometimes it's better to just keep to our routines and our ways of being. And then there's a sense that sometimes if you just keep doing that, then some of the pieces will eventually fall back into place, maybe not where they were before, but in an even better way than they were. And it makes me think of all those statements from Ethics of the Fathers, Pirkei Avot, that define the wisdom of our rabbinic tradition. Right? The day is short, the master is pressing, the workmen are lazy, or it's not incumbent upon you to finish the task, nor are you free to desist from it. We don't always know what's going on in our lives, internally, within our beings, in our emotional nature, or in our minds. And usually it's unknown. You don't know, say the sages, until you reach the finishing line. Right? Pirkei Avot says, do not be sure of yourself till the day of your death. And there's no person or thing that doesn't have its place or its hour. Even if it doesn't feel like your hour now, it might be your hour at some other point. And life holds infinitely more surprises and ways of growing and helping us grow than we can imagine or fantasize about. But the day is short and the master is pressing in the sense that we have to keep on walking. And in Kabbalah, human beings are called ha-holchim. The people who were human beings are the walkers. Their job is to keep walking, recognizing that we're looking at the perspective of a whole lifetime, and that life is never still. And the cot, as the rabbis imagined, and the tension of our good side and our not so good side, our job is to keep growing, evolving, doing the best we can as we try and contribute to our society, our world, our families, our own evolution. So, even in these words, Im bechukutai telechu, if you walk in my ways, Rabbi Lev Yitzchak Berditchev, Hasidic master, says, even Jewish law itself, we think that what is it about? It's about staying the same, preserving the traditions, making it the same as always. He says, no, even there it's about walking, about moving forward. Our traditions should evolve. Our traditions should grow from generation to generation, and we should make use of them for our own growth. And even God's very name, I am that I am, I will be that I will be, as revealed to Moses in the burning bush, symbolic of being, of dynamic being, ever changing, never the same. But then we have the other side of our Parsha this morning, the first part of our Parsha, Behar, and you have this repetition of the word Shabbat over and over, and there'll be a Shabbat. Shabbat means to stop. There should be a stop for your land. There should be a Shabbat for human beings, obviously, a stop from all of our activities on the Sabbath. Even they say every 7 times 7 years, there should be a Jubilee year where the entire society, every 49 years, the whole society stops. We have to stop, spend 1/7 of our time just resting and stopping. And it's right, it's connected to the whole cosmic idea of stopping, as God rested on the 7th day. cornerstone of Jewish life. Right? And on that Jubilee year, every 7 times 7 years, you have to blow the shofar and just everything stopped. No agriculture. Guess you had to have some savings built up. It was a reset. So the Baal Shem Tov says, we have to do Shabbat because God's name is Minucha, which means rest. The very nature of the universe is rest. So he asks, well, if the universe is rest, why are we also restless? And he says, because we have to connect to that restfulness. We have to connect to Shabbat. We have to reconnect to who we are. And so which is it? Are we supposed to stop and rest? Or are we supposed to continue on going and going and going and going? So which one is it? Is it the day is short, so don't stop working? Or are we supposed to keep taking these moments of rest and peacefulness? And both of those come out of the Har. Both of those come out of Mount Sinai. And so maybe what it's about is that how we in our modern society, out of our modern spiritual poverty, have forgotten a little bit about what rest truly is about. We don't really rest. And rest isn't only self-care. I can say that probably checking our phones and social media is not very restful. And if we're taking time off but getting lost in that, that is not Shabbat. And if we're becoming more restless from the time where we're not working, that might not be Shabbat either. And the truth is, you can be in the middle of your workday and feel like you're in Shabbat, and you could be on vacation in the most beautiful place and feel like you're completely restless. And so it's a little bit more complicated. And the Torah imagines that Shabbat is about stopping everything, but then the rabbis added all the rituals and the singing and the blessings and eating well and spending time with family. And perhaps the answer is in this very passage at the beginning of the Parsha, when it says the word Shabbat over and over and over again, it eventually becomes linked with another word which sounds almost like Shabbat, almost the same root, which is V'shaftem, which means to return, because on the Jubilee year, they would return to their original land. That was the utopian vision of the Torah. Every 49 years, everybody would return to their original homes. All the sales would be canceled. This idea of you plow, and then you let fallow. And that yes, we should spend the 7th of our lives resting, but it's not just resting. That time should be full of exploration and study and contemplation and joy and prayer and returning to who we are, returning to our spiritual homes. And maybe even when we retire from our careers, retiring shouldn't only be you retire from a career and now it's just you just enjoy, but that the 7th of our lives should be spent reading books, finding out more about who we are and what it's all about, thinking about ourselves, getting that real rest that comes from renewal and being in touch of who we really are, away from all the incessant movements of the world. For 6 days you shall work, and on the 7th day you shall rest. We are here to grow. We are here to contribute. We are here to keep moving and keep doing and never stopping. But then we do need those times, but we have to really use those times for true rest. Use those times to recalibrate, to refresh, to renew, to go back to who we are, to our homes within ourselves. And then we're truly fulfilling this vision from the Har, from the mountain, of walking on the paths of all human beings, of growing, evolving, and of finding those moments with the perspective to recalibrate and to find meaning in the great journeys of life. Shabbat Shalom.